Welcome to Other Realm Studio. I'm Paula, and this is the first page of the PDF of Soulbound, my new comic, issue 1. It's going to be a 10-issue series. Yes, and I finally found a place that would convert this from the EPUB to the PDF without having every other page blank. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now I still have a couple more things to do. I had thought that I had a solution to get the digital rewards all out at once to my backers using my email, using MailChimp, and I am extremely unhappy with MailChimp at the moment. So, yeah, gonna have to figure out a new solution for that. Of course, I figured that out after I ported all my email addresses over to it. What's in my recent files? Anything else? I'm done with the Android. I'm done with a lot of these things. Let's do something new. And yawn a lot, apparently. Oh, I forgot. Hang on. There's Restream Chat. Okay. It's up there now. We're good. So, if you are there, say hey in the chat. I will try to remember to look up there on my upper screen and acknowledge that you exist. I know sometimes I get a little bit distracted or into what I'm doing, and I don't do a lot of chatting. So I'm not quite sure. This is going to be another one when I'm getting started, but with no idea what I'm doing or where I'm going. I do think this might be a good night for a tutorial. Let's see if I've completely jinxed myself now. So let's see. Basically, to do human proportions, and we can check these later in the in the 3D drawing figure. We can use that to check later and see how accurate I am. Alright, so in case you don't have a graphics program, then it's just a really good idea to know how to do this by hand on paper or what have you. Okay, so here we have a lollipop. So, you do your basic balloon head, and then that's going to be your primary unit of measurement for the rest of the body. So, from the head to the clavicle, to just about the navel, to the crotch, another head to above the knee, see, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is about kid proportions. It's not quite. Above the knee, below the knee, hang on. I might be tired enough to where I don't have this counted accurately. So let me see. Up the knee to here. Yeah, we've still got a very petite person going on. Let me see. One of the other things that you should keep in mind is to offset, especially when you're doing a female figure, to offset the shoulders and the hips. Your shape's always going to do this or go the other way around, because naturally when you move, yeah, I'm suddenly so sleepy, y'all. So naturally when you move, you'll notice that when you walk, like one arm goes forward, the other goes back. You're in an opposite pattern from your feet, and it adds a lot more life and makes your poses more dynamic. Okay, so I've done a little too much sketching around and muddied things up for myself here. I'm gonna erase out some of this and start over a little bit. Because I keep changing my mind on exactly what I want every couple seconds, and that's not good. I can't do this and expect to have good art. Okay, but first I think I have a really neat pose here. Alright, so there's one, there's two, three, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 8 heads high would be heroic proportions, and 6 to 6.5 is feminine proportions, I think. Children have bigger heads and fewer of them. Okay, so I'm going to put a little arch in her back and a little twisting here. Okay, let me see. Let's carry this over. It's gonna work? Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's bring her around. Hang on. Send her back a bit. Move her in space a bit. Send her back a bit more. Okay, so you can see that the proportions are very similar. Right. All right, I don't want to draw on the drawing figure. All right, so you see, right, let's bring this down below. All right, so you see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, thereabouts. 6 and 7 breaking at the ankle. Lines up. So I did well, you know, I think I have her waist a little bit small compared to this one. But with kind of the 50s thing that I had in mind just a second ago, that should be pretty accurate. Right, so I can go ahead and delete this one. Whoop. So another thing that you can do in this program is you can take the models and pose them in any way you want, but it's a little bit more difficult to change your mind every couple seconds. Okay, so then the next thing that you can do, you have your proportions right. So you've got, like, for a female figure, you've got 7 heads high, breaking at the ankle. The foot is going to be close to a head long, unless you're exaggerating for whatever reason, for the aesthetic that you want. It's also important to put some movement not just the offset like I have here, the shoulders offset from the hips, but also it's important to think of the spine. I'm going to let me use a third color to draw in the spine for you. So I'm going to start with the blue. Okay, so here's the spine. She's actually leaning back some, curving forward at the hip. And then, I know her spine does not actually go down her leg, but this is where more of her weight is. This is going to be the straighter leg. So you can feel that her weight is right here on the heel of this foot. So that'll also help you get more life into your drawings. So yeah, I mean, I don't usually draw in the spine, or if I do, it's just a balloon and then I correct it in my mind as I go. But you might want to plan out your spines when you draw. Okay, the next thing we've got joints. Joints are also important. Let's do joints in green. All right, so we can do them let's see. Oh yes, and also from about the shoulder to the elbow, that's going to be another head. Let's see, there's another head length in there. Almost. And you can always tell that it's right because the elbow is going, if it was tucked in close to the body, it would hit right here at the waist. And then you have another about maybe slightly longer than another head length to the wrist. So we'll do gesture in a minute. So never mind past the wrist for now. But I'm going to have this hand bent back some. So that should remind me. All right, now here I've got some foreshortening going on. You can see that this is very definitely less than a head between this lowered shoulder and this elbow. That's because the whole arm is back. And so it's further away. It looks shorter. But from the elbow to the wrist, we have another, just about another head length. I mean, the arm's still pointed away a little bit. But you can tell. All right, now we've already done a basic thing with the joints by having the shoulders and the hips offset. And normally I don't bother to draw in the pelvis, you know. But you have to keep in mind that these are, rounded figures. Okay, knees we've already established where they are. Ankles, right here. Yeah, I'm going to want to be sure that I retain that the weight is meant to be on this foot. Also, I think I have the calf on the wrong side here. The calf's going to have to come out of here, if that's going to look right. All right, so here we have in the purple we have the spine. The blue we have some outlines. We have some green for the joints. Now, before we do any finishing on this, I'd I prefer to establish where the light's coming from. So let me zoom out of this just a little. All right. So your lighting does a lot for your mood in the picture. So you could have lighting from up here shining down on her face like a spotlight, or you could have your light coming from back here leaving her face in shadow. But I think that I would like to try, and it may be a little tricky, I would like to do something with uplighting. Like maybe not down from her feet, because that would definitely leave her face in shadow more than I could plausibly help. But I think from about here. So I'm going to go ahead and color that yellow because this is unusual for me. I don't normally do uplighting from an extreme angle like this. So I'm going to do like a big cartoony yellow sun right here so I don't forget that that's what I want to do. Okay, take my eraser, neaten up what I have so I don't get confused on my lines. And let's see, go back to the light blue. I don't know, I could go to a slightly greenish blue. And let's do the proportions for the face. So we're going to have like a 3/4 turn here to the face. Alright, if we're going to have a feeling of danger, we're going to have her face upturned a little, maybe. Not quite like that. Yes, but no. And so I'm going to be adjusting the shape of the head just a little bit. This is always a difficult pose for me. Alright, so let me see. Alright, so we have our midline down the face. This is where the nose is going to be eventually. Then halfway down our midline is where the eyes are going to be. Now, depending on where your character is going to be looking, you're going to either have a slight curve down or a slight curve up. You're pretty sure you can already see how that works. So this is going to have a slight curve down because she's looking up some. Halfway between the top of the head and the chin. Then halfway between here at the eye line and the chin. This is where the nose is. And then halfway between the nose and the chin, this is where the mouth is. Now, in this space between the nose and the end of the eyebrow, this tells you about where the ear should be. Yeah, further back, of course, but that's where that should hit. So now I have this bald blue and green alien girl. She's doing good. Let's see. And for the hair, I'm gonna go ahead and do some motion here. So this is a very gothic, almost a little bit of a 50s vibe, I think. A very gothic mood with the whole pose, and with the lighting that I'm gonna add to this, and also in the mood of the gesture of the hands. So I'm gonna have to zoom in on the hands. The rest of this is good to get a grasp of, the overall picture. But hands require some zooming in. Now, something interesting about hands. If you take the heel of your hand and you put it against your chin and you reach up to your forehead with your fingers, you will notice that your hand covers your face. A lot of people do not draw the hands big enough. They'll draw the hands half the size that they need to be. And what's really helpful when you're drawing, when you're practicing, is to get a grid. Like a photo, and you draw a grid over it like this. Only, more neatly with a ruler. Just a 1-inch grid over the entire thing. And on your drawing paper, draw a matching grid, 1-inch squares all the way through, except you measure. Don't just draw sloppy ones like this. And then you get another piece of paper, you cut a 1-inch square hole in it, and you only draw, you cover up the picture that you drew your grid in, and you only draw one square of your grid at a time. And you label these out like battleship. Like, you draw A1, you draw A2, you draw B1, and so forth until you fill in your grid. Just copy from your photo that has a little grid on it to your square. And it's better if you don't see the complete picture first. You will do a better job if you don't know what you're drawing. And I promise you, you're going to look, if you're drawing a picture with somebody's hand in it, you're going to say, That does not look right. If you've never done this exercise before, you're going to say, I'm pretty sure that I've got the hands wrong. They're huge. And they're not. It's just we think of hands as being so much bigger than they are, or smaller than they are, or something. Okay, so Clip Studio Paint also does a wonderful job of providing references for hands as well. You can look through and find, look, hand gesture. And you can move these around and move each individual joint. I mean, there's a lot to work with. And if you need to, you can just trace. It's fine. Hands are hard. I won't judge. Okay, one thing that you do need to make sure of is that you always have your thumbs on the right side. Check against your own thumbs. Alright, don't forget that you need not just your thumb here showing, but you also need room for the palm. Here's about where the palm's going to go. From the crease of the thumb to here, this is all palm. And this is some knuckle. And then the fingers are going to be, again, as long as the palm. So there's ways to reckon the size of everything else from the size that you start with. And see, here to here, we've got close to a head length. See, like here to here, we've got one. It's a little bit short of one, but that's all right because it's foreshortened slightly, and also we're dealing with a girl who's got delicate little hands. I have a lot more experience drawing girls, so that is what I gravitate to naturally. So men's proportions are a little bit more extreme. And I really should practice more. Alright, oh, and also fingers, remember, they taper. Yeah, not enough to make points, but the fingers are going to get wider at the base. You need to keep that in mind. So far I've got each of the elements here color coded for you. Even though it's all on the same layer. And now I'll probably just spend a couple more minutes on this for tonight. And just try and pull it all together real quick. Yeah, I think she could use just a little more sweeping, pointy hair. I mean, it's good for the mood to have more spikes in it. More spikes and diagonals. I mean, you can also see that the fingers are pointed tensely, and you know, the arms are at diagonals. Even the position of the legs, we've got sharper, more diagonal posing. And that's all to raise interest and make it more tense. Okay, next layer. Am I going to be doing this one with black lines? Honestly, I'm a little tired of black lines. They seem a little harsh to me lately. Let's do kind of a warm brown instead and see where that gets us. Alright, hang on. Just need to work on what I'm doing here. Okay, I do still need to go back in here and neaten up these lines. They are a little sketchy. So let's see. I'm going to have to zoom in again and make some decisions about the features. So we've got the basic placement. Okay, I like this line, but I think I've put it too high. So I'm going to select, I hope, just that line. Yeah. And move it down, deselect. Let's try this again. All right. And I just want to put a little bit of a mark where I want the eyes to be. I'm going to come back and do something more specific. Later. Alright, so, halfway between the nose and the jaw is the mouth. However, if the mouth is open, what you gonna do? You have to split the difference. Fortunately, none of this is final. Okay. I don't know, I might need to look at reference for this bit. It's very hard to get the mouth in a 3/4 turned face to do quite right. So yeah, it's gonna need some adjusting. And I might just be a little too sleepy. A little too sleepy to manage faces right now. You're gonna have to live with what I can do in my sleep. Okay. So it's just about time for me to go, actually. So I'm not sure how much more I can get done. Okay. Well, that's gonna be just about all for tonight. Yeah, my lines are going really wonky right now. See, that one started off great. Let me see if I can salvage that. Okay, select it, scoot it, turn it just a bit. It might work. I don't know, I'll have to see tomorrow when things look different again. Yeah, working hard lately. So we're gonna save this one. Oh yeah, I don't have a name for this. What do we call this? Alright, so here's what we have so far. I'm pretty happy with the proportions. I'm not happy with the face. The overall gesture, though, isn't bad. And I might even be able to use this on an upcoming project. That would be exciting. I do need to get some. Okay, I can't do this. I can't do this no more. I need to sleep. But first I need to make sure I have my coffee prepped for the morning. So, thank you for coming by. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the other realm. Good night.